Hello there! Welcome to my channel. I am Tombworm, or you can just call me Kaylee, and today I'm going to be showing you all my Living Dead doll collection. I have been collecting Living Dead dolls for around 7 years now. I got my first one for my 13th birthday, and I am now 20 years old, so time flies by really fast. If you don't already know, I'm going to give you a quick history lesson. So let's begin. Living Dead dolls were originally created in 1998 by friends Ed Long and Damien Glonick. They originally just began as craft dolls, but as they grew in popularity, they were then picked up by the toy company Mezco. The rest is just history. If you think about horror dolls, then Living Dead dolls should be the very first to come to mind. In fact, they're the world's longest continually running series of collectible horror-themed dolls. If you've never seen or heard of Living Dead dolls before, what are you doing? In all seriousness, they are a line of cute and creepy dolls that include death certificates featuring personalized poems detailing their demise. While the original concept dolls aren't really being made anymore, Living Dead Doll Presents is still going strong, and they make dolls by the handful every single year. As I was saying before, these dolls have just been my favorite thing to collect for 7 whole years now. And even before those 7 years, I was always really curious about them. It all started when I was little, and I was an iPad kid. Okay, well, maybe I wasn't an iPad kid, but I had my iPad access a couple times a week, and I remember walking into a Spencer's with my mom one day, and seeing some on a shelf, and they really piqued my interest. After that, I sneakily went into my room, grabbed my iPad, and I looked them up. And I was looking at the Dracula one, the Chucky one, a bunch of their original ones, and honestly, I was scared shitless. But ever since then, they have been in my mind, always. And I finally rediscovered them again around, maybe 2019. And then I became obsessed. So now that I have 13 dolls, I really wanted to make this video because 13 is a spooky number. So the very first doll that I ever got was on my 13th birthday, and that was Sin. So this is the 13th anniversary Sin. Basically, she is a part of a line where she was some of the first, like one of the first original dolls to ever come out. So there was Sadie, there was Sin, there was Exorcist, there was Posey, and I think the last one was Damien? But they were basically known as the icons of the Living Dead dolls. So on their 13th anniversary, they re-released these dolls. They just look a tiny bit different, and so that is what Sin is. And she is just this little devil girl, and she was released in 2012, and the anniversary for Living Dead Dolls' 13th anniversary lasted from 2011 to 2012. And since every single doll comes with a death certificate, I'm going to be reading out every single death certificate, as well as every single little clipboard poem, which they all have a poem on the outside of their box. So, like, this is what Sin's looks like. And then they all have a death certificate. So they all come with a death certificate on the inside of the box as well. So every single doll has a cause of death. And hers is that she was burnt alive. So I'm going to be reading off every single death certificate and every single clipboard poem. So if you see me looking up, it's because I'm reading what I wrote down, because I saved every single death certificate and clipboard poem to share with you. So Sin's death certificate reads, "Consumed by flames at 7, better to forever serve in hell than grow up and play in heaven." Her clipboard poem reads, "This little devil has a pitchfork she uses. She gives you a poke instead of little bruises." And actually she comes with a pitchfork. It's very detailed. It's really cute. And she can actually hold it in her hand, but it is so hard to put in her hand that I don't bother. It just does not work out for me. but she's very simple, she's very cute, and she has like little Mary Janes. But I love her so much, and Sin will always be like my favorite original character, like from the classic character I should say, because she's my first dolly ever. Okay, the next doll I have is Lydia the Lobster Girl. She was released in series 30, which was like a freak show theme. And she was actually based off of a real life condition. I cannot pronounce it, so I'll put it here somewhere. But it basically makes somebody's hands or feet take the form of like a lobster claw. And a good example of this in media can be seen on the character Jimmy Darling and American Horror Story Freak Show. This series in particular actually did not have any clipboard poems. Instead, they kind of had like these little like freak show posters that you would commonly see back in the day for like circus acts. So this is what hers looks like. So it doesn't have a poem, but it has art similar to that of what you would see at a circus. So while she does not have a poem, she does have a death certificate poem, and her cause of death was that she was boiled alive, which I think is very, very fitting because she is a lobster. Alright, so her death certificate reads, Lydia was billed a freak, that with her family traveled around. But when the sideshow reached the next town, this doll could not be found. Boiled in a pot, what the locals wanted was lobster. And what they got was the living dead, the worst kind of monster. Well, I feel like her design is pretty simple. I really like it because she kind of has like this kind of sailor-esque sort of outfit, which really fits and it's really on theme. And I feel like she's a very underrated doll, and I love her to bits. The next doll that I have is Candy Rotten, and she is so pretty. She was released in series 35, which was actually a commemoration of the 20th anniversary of the Living Dead dolls. While that series didn't really have too much of a theme, I'm definitely getting like Manson follower vibes from her, like a Psychobilly Manson follower. But fun fact, she is one of the very few dolls that actually has tattoos. So you can see here, she has some cotton candy tattoos, and also on the back of her arms, she has little daggers, kind of like the Elvira daggers. I got this doll at an event called Ghouls Day Out, and it's an event that takes place in LA. I think they still do it. But this doll was kept in the box for the longest time, and the only thing that makes me sad about her is, you probably can't tell from here, but she is like severely stained because she was kept in the box for so long. Like the tips of her fingers are stained up pretty well. I still love her. She was one of my dream dolls, and when I found her, I just had to have her. But without further ado, she died of execution, and her death certificate reads, Candy was executed for being insane. Now her gain is pain, a playful sort of game. I really like her clipboard poem, and it reads, Candy was so rotten she didn't belong, choosing those who screamed rather than sing a song. She awoke one day in her own land. Now she wants you with her down in Candy's land. The next doll that I have is Lamenta, who is one of my favorite dolls because this is like the first original that my boyfriend has ever bought for me. And she's so perfect, and I love just how gothic and gorgeous she is. Lamenta was actually released in series 26, and this series was based off of witches. Fun fact about her is that she is the only doll in that line who is not named after a pagan holiday. The rest of them were. Another thing about her is she actually doesn't have like we don't know how she died. She doesn't have a cause of death. But can we just take a second to appreciate her dress? And also, she has boots. But her death certificate reads, "She will lick the tears right off your face. Your sorrows is what she loves to taste. Your eyes shut tight, your face a frown. In her tears of blood you will drown." And then her clipboard poem reads, "The third of 3 sisters who pollute our world, the offspring of a witch who had 3 little girls. Lamenta is the most beautiful and holds the most power. Her sweet tears of blood shall rain down like a shower." So this next doll is actually my favorite doll that I own, and I'm kind of sad because I just took her out of the box for the first time ever to show you what she looks like. So this is Calico, and she is my favorite doll that I own. And what I did not know is that when I was going to take her out of the box, because of the sun and everything that she's been through and all of her years of living, parts of her dress have kind of eroded away, which is kind of sad. But since she is a body mod addict, it kind of makes sense. And she's kind of like this Frankenstein monster, so I'll let it pass for now. But she was a doll that was released in Series 6, so she is quite an old doll. And in this series, each doll came with a pet. So this is her pet. The pet is pretty big, and it's just like a little stitched up creature, just like her. So it has like this imp tail, like the body of like kind of like a fish or like a crocodile. And then it has like a bird foot, it has like a cat paw, and then it's like a dog, and then a bunny, and then a duck. I mentioned this very briefly, but her cause of death was actually complications from body modifications, and I thought that that was so American Mary coded. And she is one of the very few dolls that has yarn hair. There are not many dolls like that. But her death certificate reads, "Calico was a puzzle to everyone she met, a mystery to be solved, but never to forget. She always chose to keep her body modified, stitched together jigsaw, and living zombified." And then her clipboard, I keep saying clipboard, it's been chipboard this whole time. Her chipboard poem says, "Calico sure loves her pet Muzzy. Some parts are scaly and some parts are fuzzy." And that is referring to her little stitched up creature here, which I just showed. So cute. But yeah, I love her look, and she is genuinely just like my favorite looking Living Dead doll. She's so different. My other holy grail, like one of my holy grails, is the Bride of Valentine, and she's stitched up too. She's just like the Bride of Frankenstein, but like their take on her. But yeah, I'm still really, really sad about her dress, but I think from now on I'm just going to keep her and Muzzy out of the box together, and I'll just set her on my shelf so that she lives a better life out of the box. But yeah, that is Calico. Oh yeah, I forgot to show her like little heel sandals. Oh my god, she's everything. She's everything. So, the last original doll that I own is actually a little bit different, because in 2022, or 2023, pretty sure it was 2022, they announced that the Living Dead dolls would have a return of the Living Dead dolls line. And the line began with Sadie, and she's the only one I own because these dolls are really fucking expensive. But they are very, very unique. They have several points of articulation. They can move the shoulder, at the elbow, and they can actually move at the wrist. They can move at the knee, the hip, and I don't think that they can move it, the foot. But she's very different. She comes with multiple face plates. You can switch out her face. She has like a more sinister face, I think, is the other one she comes with. And you can move her eyes, so she kind of works like a pull-up doll in that way. And she came with a lot of accessories. For example, she came with a little butcher's knife. She came with a little teddy bear. And in Sadie fashion, she came with a little bouquet of black roses. And my favorite accessory that she came with is actually this tombstone. And it says, Sadie, Deader is Better, April 26th, 1969. And it's very, very detailed. And what's crazy about this is I didn't know about this until I was like playing around with it, is that there's a little something here that you can move it, you can take it off. I just lost it. But the death certificate is in here. But yeah, you can keep the little death certificate in there. And I don't know if it's like that for every single one, but it is like that for Sadie. So if you are somebody who lives under a rock and does not know who Sadie is, she is like the doll. She is the Living Dead doll. She is on like a bunch of merchandise that they've made. She has so many dolls. And she is one of the originals that I was talking about earlier. So I do not have original Sadie, but my partner does. I'm gonna get him. But basically, she's just a spooky girl. That's basically all there is to it. She's like the Wednesday Addams of Living Dead dolls. And her chipboard poem reads, "Watch this little one, she's pining away with her butcher's knife, coffin purse, and black bouquet." And basically her death certificate is, "No one cared how she turned up dead, so Sadie chose to rise instead. Being easily forgotten wouldn't be fair. Death was something this child had to share." So she is the face of Living Dead dolls, and she's so gorgeous, and she's like the only doll, like original doll, that just sits on my shelf normally. She's just too cool to have in a box, but her box is very cool. Now we are getting into Living Dead doll presents. So the first one that I'm going to start with is actually my newest doll, which is the Talking Freddy Krueger, and he came out in July of 2018. He can talk. He has 2 phrases that he says. He has like a very clever button on the back, but he is from somebody else's collection, and my partner bought somebody's whole collection, and he already had Freddy, so I have a Freddy now. But I guess who had him before had a small child that probably used to press his button all the time, so unfortunately his phrases do not work anymore. But if I can find a video of what he says, I will add it right here. The next dolls I have here actually came in a 2-pack. These are probably the oldest Presents dolls that I have. Actually, not even probably, they are. And that is Chucky and Tiffany. And these dolls, come on, focus. These dolls came out in 2014. They're really cute. They're really cute. You know, I feel like everybody has to have some sort of Chucky doll in their collection, and I'm really happy I have him, because, of course, this is obviously Bride of Chucky. Chucky, he looks really good. He has his little good guy sneakers, and then Tiffany has her wedding dress and her jacket. Unfortunately, she has the exact same issue that Candy Rotten has, to where the black kinda went off on her skin, like rubbed off on her skin. So you can see on her chin, she was in the box for so long that it was on her face. But she looks just like her. She also has the tattoo. You can take this off. She also has a really cute veil she comes with. You can also take off the veil, but I love it just as she came. And of course, she has the fishnet leggings with the boots. And honestly, these are some of the best dolls that Presents have ever done, because they are so cute. Okay, the next one I have to show is one that my mom brought back for me from one of her trips, and I was so excited to have her. But this one is very special. I definitely think she is my favorite Presents doll, and that is La Llorona. And she's so gorgeous. She has curly hair. She just looks amazing. Her face is so pretty. Her dress is so detailed. Her skin is extremely detailed. until you get like to her knees. But she is just gorgeous. Unfortunately, she is actually from the movie. And I know that movie isn't the best, but this La Llorona doll came out in July of 2019, and she's based off of the movie. But I wanted her really bad because, oh, my light just turned off. Sorry about that. But I wanted her really bad because if you are somebody who goes to HHN as much as me, in Hollywood, she is a very big presence there. She has been in countless scare zones and mazes over there, and it reminded me of the La Llorona from Horror Nights, so she's gorgeous, and I love her so much. The next doll I got for my birthday, specifically my 16th birthday, and that is Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. And I think she's definitely one of the best looking Presents dolls. Her makeup is just like Elvira's. She's got the boobies. And she's got her little dagger, which can actually be removed if you want to take it out. And her dress is so cute. And they did her hair perfectly. And she is just a great doll. I think every goth probably has her in their Living Dead doll collection. And her heels are so cunt. And unfortunately, she also has the same issue of staining. But yeah, her dagger dropped on the floor. But yeah, I love her. She's simple. She's just classic Elvira. Finally, the last two that I'm going to show kind of go hand in hand. And that is Art the Clown, which he looks great. His face is great. And he comes with his butcher's knife. It's just Art the Clown. Looks just like him. He looks great. He came out in October of 2024. And then, not long after that, Little Pale Girl came out. And she came out in March 2025. I remember I was looking everywhere for the Little Pale Girl, because I love Terrifier 2. Terrifier 2 is my favorite of the Terrifier films. And I was at Midsummer Scream, and they were just trying to get rid of her, and they gave me a discount for her. And yeah. So besides Freddy, she is my most recent, and I love them both to death. I think that they look great, and I'm so glad that they are both a part of the Living Dead doll universe. So that was my Living Dead doll collection. If you enjoyed this video, maybe consider subscribing to my channel. I'm just a weird girl who does weird shit, and I will be doing just a bunch of random things on here. So, yeah. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!